Hello and welcome to your video coaching session. Now, in today's lesson, we're going to focus on the tools that are available to you to help you level resources quickly. Let's get started. Okay, in this session, we're looking at the resource management tools. So, for resource management, we have the resource usage and the resource sheet views. And basically the difference between these two are that the sheet, the resource sheet, displays high-level information, and the resource usage displays more low-level information, more detail. Let me show you what that looks like. So the resource sheet is this view here. Has, in my case, I have the resource name and work, material, initials, group. I could hide columns that I don't want. And I have the cost of the resource here. So this is the resource sheet. The resource usage view, which is right here, has a little bit more detail. Let me scroll up to the top so you can see. As you can see, let me collapse this. This has the resource information, the resource names, their tasks, and the days and hours that they're working. So the usage displays more detail, basically. Now, we can turn a filter on for over-allocation, and we can turn it off. And this helps us to be able to see who's over-allocated. And we can use the Go to Next Over-Allocation button, as well as create a customized group. So let's go ahead and take a look at how we do that. Okay, we're in the resource usage view, and first let me turn off some details. I'm going to go back and explain what they are later. But typically when you launch the resource usage view, you're going to see all of your resources and whatever columns you're displaying, as well as details on the hours that they're working. When you expand the resource, you'll be able to see the work hours, and you can see here this resource is working 12 hours in one day. These are the tasks. Since this is my template, you don't see the task name, but if you had the task names in your schedule, you would see the task names here, and the hours that they're allocated to work in that one day. So obviously 12 hours is over allocated. Now what you can do from the resource usage view is when you select the column, click on the minus to hide the subtask, you'll see just the resource names. Of course, you can select the column again and click on show all to be able to show all of the information for all of your resources. And if you turn the filter for over-allocation on, you'll be able to see which resources are over-allocated if you have a large resource pool. And how you do that is over here, you see this is the filter, auto filter, or you can just select an existing filter. And by default, Project comes with an over-allocated resources filter. So you can select that. And then the resource usage view will automatically show the resources who are over allocated. And to turn this off, you would then go back to your filter and select all resources to see everything again. Now, in the Manage Resources toolbar, the Resource Management toolbar, which is right here, there's a button here that says Go to Next Over Allocation. And you can use this to actually page through the over-allocated times for your over-allocated resources. But there's something that I want to show you that actually will save, I think, a lot of time and help you quickly manage your over-allocated resources. And that is to create a customized group. So how you do that is when you go to the menu option Project and select Group By, you can select Customize Group By. And from the dialog box that pops up, the group by field, which is the column we have right here, would be over allocated. So you click on the drop down list box, hit the letter O, and then the letter V, and it scrolls down to over allocated. Select that. And I prefer them to be in ascending order. You can change it to descending if you want. And you can also select a nested group or create a nested group. And we're going to select the peak units, so we'll be able to see that information. And you can, of course, save your customized group. Now, I've already created one, but when you click on Save, you would type in the name that you want to give this group so that you can refer back to it. Whatever you want to call it. Call it, group by over allocated, whatever name you want to give. And you can choose to show it in your menu or not. Now, I've already saved the exact same thing, so I'm going to cancel out of here, cancel out of here. And right now, my group says no group. I already created a group. I called it group over allocated with peak. So when you click on OK or select your group, then it changes, the view changes to show the over allocated and their peak usage information. So as you can see here, this person's peak usage is 5%. And if I scroll down the list and go to someone who I know is over allocated, all the over allocated resources, needless to say, will be in red, as we've mentioned before. Let me expand this column so we can see all the detail. Okay, so this particular resource is allocated at 200%, so obviously they're very over allocated. But anyway, in this view, it will help you to be able to work through who's over allocated and to be able to reassign them. Now, once you've created a group, then the next thing is to find the resource with available time. And as we go back to our presentation here, that's actually the next slide. I'm going to walk you through how to find resources with available time, as well as reassign the remaining time. So let's go back to project. Now, first I'm going to turn the group off, select no group, so it's back to our regular resource usage view. And from the menu, you can select Format and then Details and turn on Remaining Availability. Now, in the Details column over here, we see REM available. And when we collapse our resources, we can see the remaining available time that the resources have. So, for example, Debbie in this row here on February 10th has 8 hours available, so you can assign work to her. If we expand this for this over allocated resource, let me go back a little bit, you can see that this particular resource is over allocated, everything's in red. They have no available time, no remaining available time. And you can see they're already over allocated because they're scheduled to work 9.6 hours. So with the remaining availability turned on, you can go through your resources and see who has remaining availability, and you can quickly assign them if they have remaining availability. Okay, how you do that is, let's say what we're going to do is make this 0 hours. This person is working already over allocated, so let me scroll down just a little bit so you can see this. So if I take away, let's say 2 hours, so this becomes 2.8. Okay, so now they're no longer over allocated. And then I scroll down and let's say I assign a task to this person. Pretend we've already assigned the task to this person and it happens to be this task. You would then assign 2 hours to this resource. and now this person has only 6 hours left. Previously they had 8 hours remaining available. Now they only have 6, and they're working 2 because we've assigned them 2 hours. So using the remaining availability, you can quickly display and modify the resource usage from the resource usage view, resources with available time and resources who are over allocated. Now let's also look at reassigning the remaining work in more detail. If you go to the menu option View and select Task Usage, the Task Usage view opens up. And in the Task Usage view, you can see the amount of hours that someone is allocated to work. You can see the task and the resources associated with the tasks. And from here, when you click on a task, this is a task, this is a task, we can reassign the remaining work if we need to reassign remaining work. And how you can do that is when the task is selected, then click on, from the Resource Management toolbar, Assign Resource. And this is the task we have selected. That would be the task name that you see there. These are the current resources that are assigned. And here you can go ahead and select whoever you're going to reassign. So click on their name, click on Assign. Click on another name, click on Assign. And when you're done, click on Close. So now we have additional resources assigned to this task. And now you can then change the hours of any resource that's over allocated. So let's say we assign people because they have availability. We'll give them, by clicking on the cell and typing in it, the amount of hours that you want to assign. And the person who we're removing hours from, who's over allocated, we'll just reduce it, let's say, to 2 hours. Reduce this person to 2 hours. Actually, this would be 4.32. 4.32. And you would work through your resource tasks in this way. Simply reduce the hours of those who are over allocated and add the time to those who you're assigning. Now let's go back to our presentation. And next, we're going to take a closer look at the Resource Management toolbar. We're going to focus on two things, which are the resource allocation view, which is a split screen view between the resource usage and the leveling Gantt view. And we're also going to take a look at the task entry view, which is also a split between resource schedule and Gantt views. So from this toolbar, when you click on Resource Allocation View, Project automatically loads the resource allocation view. And again, this is a split between the resource usage up here and the leveling Gantt down here. And how you remove this split, if you want to go back to your Gantt chart, the split will remain. So you need to go to the window option and select Remove Split. So another way to work with your overallocated resource is to use the resource allocation view. Because if you need to split a task or delay a task, you can do that by using the leveling Gantt view down here and seeing who's over allocated from the resource usage view up here. Okay. The other view I want to show you really quickly is the task entry view. When you click on that, here we have our tasks. When you click on a task, this is a split between the Gantt view up here and the resource schedule view down here. So for this task, these are the resources who are assigned, and we can add delay, we can reduce the hours, we can manage this task and the resources from this view. Now let's go back to the Gantt view. I'm going to remove the split. And I want to point out that on the toolbar, we've talked about these two views, the resource allocation and the task entry. We quickly walked through how you can use the go to next over allocation button here to have project automatically step through over allocations. We use the assign resource button here. The new resources from button actually works from the resource sheet, where if you want to add new resources into your project, you can select the resource sheet view and click new resources from, and then you can assign resources from your Active Directory or from your address book. So let's say we go to our address book and I select Adam. Click on Add. I'm using Outlook. Click on OK, and there's Adam. Also, previously we went through share resources. I want to show you the address book. When you click on that, opens up the address book, and you can select names and add them into your resource pool. Select another resource. I'll just select a name, then go to resource details, and Outlook opened up the contact sheet for that resource, so you can view the details for that resource. The resource management toolbar also has a leveling help button, and when you click on that, it literally just launches Microsoft Projects Help, which is this little window over here. And when it opens, you can type in a subject. It'll come up with a result set, most likely linking you to the internet with a lot of information that will be helpful. Okay, so these are some of the details. Let's go back to our PowerPoint presentation. These are the tools that will help you to be able to quickly manage your resources. You'll need to spend a little bit of time practicing using these tools, but you'll find it to be a tremendous time saver. Now, let's take a look at the homework. What I want you to do is create a customized group to view your over-allocated resources. And then from the resource usage view, display the remaining availability of your resources. And finally, from the resource usage view, practice reassigning work. I want you to assign resources and remove work for over-allocated resources. So there you have it. You can easily and quickly level your resources in your project schedule if you follow these techniques. So give it a try and take a look at the homework below, and I'll see you in our next session. Have an excellent day.